So you want to get into Pathfinder. I knew if I was patient long enough, you would find your way here. Pathfinder is a fantastic next step game beyond D&D. When you move up to Pathfinder, you're gonna find a more complicated but not necessarily overwhelming rule system. But those additional rules open up the play space for you to create very specialized characters. In D&D, I dare say that one 6th level paladin isn't all that different from any other 6th level paladin. And your paladin might be a kobold, an elf, or a pile of jello, and it wouldn't make that much difference in your actual gameplay. Not so in Pathfinder. Your choice of ancestry is going to have almost as big of an impact on your choice as your choice of class in this game. And the world of Pathfinder is like stepping into an alternate D&D reality. A lot's going to seem familiar at first glance. There are still elves and orcs and goblins, but throw any other assumptions out the door. Those elves? They're not fey creatures here. They're aliens. Pathfinder is a rules-heavy game, but those game mechanics really serve as a catalyst for your storytelling. Every skill, every feat, every invention and spell in the game gives you an opportunity to expand your character's story. So in this video, I am going to help you get started. I'm going to show you all the free tools you have at your disposal to see if Pathfinder is a game for you, and if it is, which books to purchase, which online tools can help facilitate and streamline your games, and maybe I'll even get you going down an adventure path. And friend of the show, Glenn Goddard, has very kindly offered his services running some Pathfinder intro adventures for folks on Foundry VTT, including you if you want. You can get set up with him by posting a request in the Pathfinder channel on our Discord server, which you can find linked in the doohickey down below. So let's get started with Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Before we jump in, let me tell you a little bit about a beautiful new tool for your TTRPGs from our sponsor Hit Point Press. The Fablemaker's Animated Tarot Deck is a gorgeous full set of tarot cards with 8 frames of lenticular animation each. You can use them for regular tarot readings or combine them with the Fablemaker's guidebook to learn how to use them to generate plots, make NPCs, build backstories, and so much more in your games. Over on our TikTok channel, we're building a whole one-shot adventure using these cards, and it's been wild. You should check it out, and you should consider picking yourself up some Fablemaker's animated tarot cards and the guidebook at our links down below or at animatedtarot.com. Let's start off with how to try out Pathfinder for free to see if it's a game for you. Now, there are a ton of books for Pathfinder 2nd Edition already, but maybe the very best thing about the system is that all the rules, all of them, are available for free on the Archives of Nethys website. The only things that aren't there are the lore, the setting information, and the adventures. Now, if you want to start playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition next week, you do not need to read the entire core rulebook. Like most TTRPGs, if you don't know a rule when it comes up, just make a call and move on. You can look it up later. To get a foundation, though, I would suggest reading Chapter 1, which is an overview of the system and character creation, and then Chapter 9, which is the rules for playing the game. We have a written guide on all of this on our website, which includes links to these chapters and everything we talk about here. You can find that link to the guide in the doohickey down below or over at gallantgoblin.com. And once you've read those 2 chapters, you should choose a little adventure to run. There are 4 official adventures available for free as PDFs on the Paizo website. Threshold of Knowledge, in which your players are students at a prestigious magical academy investigating the disappearance of a teacher. A Fistful of Flowers, in which they're sentient plants called Leshy avenging their friends who are plucked to decorate a noblewoman's dining table. Big Trouble in Little Absalom, where they'll play kobolds investigating a whimsical treasure trove, and Torment and Legacy, a short 1-hour adventure where they'll be townsfolk investigating a disappearance. That one is also available for free on Roll20. And new free adventures come along all the time, so check out the Paizo website to see what's new. So you've got the rules, you've got some choices for adventures, and now all you need is players. If you have players ready to go, I have some text in our written guide that you can copy, paste, and then personalize in an email to help bring them up to speed with what they need to know. If you need more players, you can post in the Looking for Groups section of our Discord channel, and I have links to 2 other very popular Pathfinder Discords, Roll for Combat and the Pathfinder 2e subreddit. Between all those places, I bet you'll find some folks ready to play. Now, while you're playing, you're gonna need a GM screen with a very good rules reference, and there is a fantastic, easy to use, free one on the Archives of Nethys website. It looks like this, and of course, the link is in our guide. There's also a player's guide for your friends to have up to reference as they learn the game, and honestly, they can also use that GM screen reference too. And that's everything you need to figure out if Pathfinder is the game for you and your table. If you like what you experience, you have a few options for getting deeper into the system. If you're planning to play mostly in person around your gaming table, you may want to pick up the Pathfinder Beginner Box. We have a full review of this up in the corner of your screen there. The Beginner Box will gently bring you up to speed, even if you've never played a TTRPG before. If you prefer online play, I would recommend picking up the Beginner Box on Foundry, and I'll talk more about Foundry in just a little bit. And after the Beginner Box, you can pick up Troubles in Otari, which is a series of 3 adventures that continue from the Beginner Box. They get progressively more complex, and by the time you finish the last chapter, you should be ready to tackle any Pathfinder adventure path. We played the first adventure in Troubles in Otari here on the channel, which you can see in clicking the eye in the corner of your screen right now. If you feel like you don't need any hand-holding at all, man, you can just skip the Beginner Box and jump right in. There are 6 core rulebooks. The aptly named core rulebook here, which, if you come from playing D&D, contains Pathfinder's versions of the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide in one massive tome. You also have the Advanced Player's Guide, the Game Mastery Guide, and Bestiaries 1, 2, and 3. If you want nice books to reference and read, you're going to want to pick up each of these eventually. But again, I think everything in here is online for free on the Archives of Nethys, so do not feel like you have to buy any of these right away. One thing to be aware of though, on both the Archives of Nethys and when you're buying books online, do make sure you are looking at the 2nd edition books. On the Archives of Nethys, the URL should start with 2E. With the physical books, look for that 2nd edition tag in the corner. You can get the core rulebook as either a hardcover book like this one for about $45, or you can get a small paperback edition for about $25. Be aware that the print size in that pocket edition is pretty small though. You can also get it as a PDF version for $20. Also, Paizo does a lot of work with Humble Bundle, where you can get some physical books and products plus a whole bunch of PDFs for a low price while supporting charity. The other hardcover books outside of the core 6 are pretty specialized. They either introduce new types of character classes, expand the lore on certain parts of the world, or just do a deep dive on a part of the game. Before you go purchasing any of those, I would figure out which adventure path you want to run. If you prefer to homebrew your own stories, feel free to jump ahead because I'm going to go over all the adventure paths we have so far and what hardcover books I'd recommend to support those. And we're going to go in chronological order of release here. Starting off with Age of Ashes, which I have under here. This was the first 2nd edition AP. It is a full 6-issue, level 1 to 20 adventure. It's a very expansive, epic story in which you'll face all sorts of foes. While it does a great job of introducing players to the world of Galarian, because it was being written while the rule set was still being finalized, it generally has a reputation of being a little bit uneven and confusing with some of its rules. Next up though, we have another full 6-issue AP, Extinction Curse. In this adventure, your PCs run and perform in a traveling circus while also trying to stop an existential threat to the world. If that sounds up your alley, I think Curse will treat you well. After that, we had Agents of Edgewatch, an urban adventure set in the city of Absalom in which your PCs play members of the City Watch. This one also goes level 1 to 20. It kind of starts off as a buddy cop movie and then eventually veers into more horror movie territory. If Edgewatch grabs your attention, you may also want to pick up the huge setting guide to the city of Absalom. It doesn't have a lot of gameplay rules, but it is an epic setting guide to the world's greatest city. You can also check out the Pathfinder Battles mini set, City of Lost Omens, which has a lot of helpful minis for this adventure. Next up is probably the most popular 2nd edition AP, Abomination Vaults. This is a classic, if very well done, and inventive mega dungeon adventure that takes place near the city of Otari, which is where the beginner box and Troubles in Otari is set. So it is a logical next step after those. It's a shorter adventure path though, 3 books, levels 1 to 10, which means you won't easily be able to use your same heroes from the beginner box and Troubles in Otari, which is a bit of a shame. By the end of Troubles in Otari, they should already be at level 5. So you're gonna have to start over here. It is probably a good adventure to get started with though as a game master because it does hold your hand a little bit more than other APs. And this one is available on Foundry in a gorgeous package, but there is also a hardcover compilation as well if you want that new book smell. Not to mention a set of battle cards to help you manage the combat scenarios while showing off the fantastic art to your players. Next up, we have another 3-book adventure, Fists of the Ruby Phoenix, though this one takes you from levels 11 to 20, so you can match it up with Abomination Vaults if you like. It takes place in the Asian-inspired continent of Tianjia, where the party will be entering themselves into the world-famous fighting tournament. The next set of Pathfinder Battles minis from WizKids will be for Ruby Phoenix, so stay tuned for that here this summer. It is another very well-received adventure though if you want to challenge yourself to some higher level play. Then we have maybe my favorite AP so far, Strength of Thousands, where the PCs will be students at the famous magical academy known as the Magambia, eventually becoming teachers themselves. They'll explore the African-inspired region known as the Mwangi Expanse, which has a great mini set as well and an entire setting guide of the same name. This AP is very thematic, grounded yet epic, and offers your players so many special experiences. Definitely worth your consideration. It is a level 1 to 20 adventure, and one day I will run it. After that is the Quest for the Frozen Flame. This is a level 1 to 10 adventure which takes place in the far north in the realm of the Mammoth Lords. It's another really good adventure with a unique feel. The PCs are going to be part of a nomadic fellowship of hunter-gatherers. It's got a very prehistoric feel to it, so if you want the opposite of an urban adventure, this is the one for you. And then we have The Outlaws of Alkenstar, another level 1 to 10 adventure, which is the basis of our upcoming actual play series, Love and Hate in the Mana Wastes. We're kicking off our fundraising campaign for it this month, which you can check out at the doohickey down below. This is a gunslinging, steampunk Wild West adventure in which your PCs start as outlaws trying to reclaim their good names. There are 2 good companion books for this one. Guns and Gears gives you the class information for the gunslinger and the adventure, plus a whole bunch of vehicles and contraptions and inventions and more, and then the Impossible Lands book further expands upon the surrounding setting. After Alkenstar, we jumped into next door into the country of Geb for Bloodlords. This is a full level 1 to 10 to 20 adventure, level 1 to 20, that focuses heavily on the undead. So if you've ever wanted to play something a little bit more macabre, everything from a necromancer to a skeleton to a vampire, this is the one that's going to slake that thirst. You'll definitely want to pick up the Book of the Dead to get a hold of all those undead player options, enemies, and lore though. And as of this recording, we just got the first book of the Gatewalker's adventure path. This is one that I am super intrigued by. The PCs will be dealing with essentially stargates, becoming paranormal investigators trying to figure out what happened during a planet-wide amnesic episode. It's another low-level adventure path, levels 1 to 10, and it makes great use of the Dark Archive, a book of all things paranormal. In spring 2023, we'll have our second high-level AP, Stolen Fate, which brings the tarot-like hero cards back for 2nd edition. This adventure will find the heroes playing with the Tapestry of Fate inside and outside the material plane, and there's a fancy new hero deck of cards that you'll probably want to pick up to use with the AP. Then in the summer, we'll have another low-level campaign, Sky King's Tomb, exploring dwarven culture. You're probably going to want to pick up the Lost Omens High Home book for that one. It is the next big setting book to go along with that adventure. And we also have Kingmaker, the ultimate Pathfinder adventure, levels 1 to 20, brought up from Pathfinder 1st edition and expanded with a ton of new content, lots of maps, pawns, all sorts of great supplements. In this sandboxy adventure, the PCs will be founding and expanding their own kingdom. This is another adventure I'm definitely going to run one day. At least I'm going to be a player in it. And it is a very complex adventure though, so it may not be the best place for new players or new GMs to start. So you got lots of great full 1 to 20 adventures, plus several low-level and high-level ones that you can pair together. At lower levels, you've got Abomination Vaults, Quest for the Frozen Flame, Outlaws of Alkenstar, Gatewalkers, and Sky King's Tomb. You can pair those with Fist of the Ruby Phoenix or Stolen Fate for a full level 1 to 20 adventure. As far as I can tell, there's no specific guidance, at least in Ruby Phoenix, for linking it to those previous adventures, but due to the nature of both of those new high-level adventures, it shouldn't be very hard to bring those surviving characters from the previous APs into those higher ones. Now, there's a lot of great YouTube content out there for Pathfinder. Our buddy NoNat1s has a ton of Pathfinder-specific content, particularly for Pathfinder players looking for great character builds and discussions. And if you're looking for rules explainer videos, one resource that I really adore is a channel called How It's Played, which has separate short videos for particular subjects like initiative and stealth and crits, just everything. I highly recommend going to the channel and just scrolling through and watch whatever videos draw your attention. I could spend days going through this content. Here at the Gallant Goblin, we do cover Pathfinder, but we also cover lots of other games. We'll showcase all the Pathfinder minis, and you'll hear from us about adventures and source books and more. And we also produce Pathfinder content ourselves, including QUEERFINDER, a queer travel guide to the world of Golarion with adventures and stories and comics and magic items, recipes, location guides, player options, and lots more. We also have Cryptids Expanded to get more out of the Dark Archive, and Adventures in Jalmeray for modules based on Indian culture and mythology. So, let's get you set up with some online tools. I know for me, D&D Beyond made that game much more enjoyable by taking care of the math and bookkeeping. That bookkeeping is gonna be more intense than Pathfinder. And there's some folks out there who love that and who want to keep it all on pen and paper, and man, more power to you. For the rest of us, I want something that will do it for me so I can enjoy the storytelling part of the game. For players, an invaluable resource is Pathbuilder2e.com. It is a mostly free, very intuitive character builder that has all the ancestries, all the classes, and pretty much everything you need to build out and play your characters. It will roll your attacks, skill checks, and saves for you. It adds in those appropriate modifiers, and when you get conditions, just indicate that in the app or on the website, and it'll make those adjustments for you. I say that it's mostly free because there is an optional purchase of about $6 that will open up more options for you, like animal companion tracking and familiar management, additional options, and custom gear, backgrounds, etc. Even if you've never played Pathfinder at all, go to Pathbuilder2e.com and just play around with the character creator, and I bet it's going to draw you into the system. They have a web version and an Android app. Now, as a game master, you're also going to have a lot of monsters to track, and right now there's no real best option for doing that. I use Hero Lab Online. It is a very comprehensive tool for character management and running combat encounters because it has all those monster stat blocks baked in. It goes beyond what Path Builder does. If your bard is playing a song that inspires the party, you can trigger that in the system so that everyone can give themselves that buff. All those more esoteric spells and buffs and items can be used in the system, and it'll calculate everything for you, not just conditions like Path Builder does. The downside is that Hero Lab can get kind of expensive. You'll need a subscription for you and your players. It is $10 for 6 months of access for your players, and as a GM, you'll want the patron subscription, which is $25 for 6 months. Because just like D&D Beyond, you'll have to purchase the various books in Hero Lab to have access to their content. Now, the prices are less than buying the books themselves, but it can add up pretty quickly, and you have to maintain your subscription to continue using them effectively. For me, it's worth it for how much easier it makes running these adventures. It really streamlines your combat encounters, and for players, it does a great job of guiding them through the creation process of making characters that are valid and complete. The downsides are that it's expensive, the combat management isn't as intuitive as I'd like it to be, and you can't purchase adventure paths that have the combat encounters ready to trigger. The last one will be a killer feature, and it's been hinted at by the developers, but I'm honestly not too sure how much active development is really happening with Hero Lab at the moment. Foundry is one of the best options out there at the moment though. I am still in the process of learning Foundry myself, but the implementation of the Pathfinder system there is almost universally lauded as being incredible. It has everything you need. The maps are gorgeous, the character sheets and combat are all baked in beautifully, they have dynamic and animated lighting, and even a soundtrack key to different rooms and events supplied by Sirenscape. There aren't a ton of official Pathfinder modules just yet though, but the ones they have are top of the line. You can get the beginner box on Foundry for about 35 bucks, though you'll also need a Foundry license, which is a one-time purchase of 50 bucks, though they have sales on that from time to time too. And Foundry isn't a subscription service, so you don't have to worry about paying any ongoing payments. But like most of these systems, it is not super intuitive, so the learning curve is going to take you a little bit of time. And you'll probably need to hire a host to run the server for you, and there's lots of modules that you can download to streamline and update things if you like. It's kind of all a lot, honestly. You'll really need to invest some time to learn it well enough to keep those games flowing smoothly, and it's something that I need to do soon myself. Now, Paizo is also readying the launch of their own online system called Nexus through a company called Demiplane. They've recently launched a closed alpha for their character management program, and it looks very snazzy based on what I've seen. Like Hero Lab, you can sign up for a paid subscription that's currently $5 a month to unlock content sharing and unlimited character slots. And though you're still gonna have to pay for each book unlock individually, unlike Hero Lab, you do get discounts though for products that you purchase through Paizo.com. Nexus isn't ready for prime time just yet, but I'm hoping that by later this year, it will have taken what Hero Lab does up to the next level. I will keep you updated though. It is not a full VTT system though with maps, at least not yet. Of course, if you're already a pro at Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds, you can also get Pathfinder content there as well. It does seem like the gold standard for online Pathfinder play is currently Foundry though, but for now the only adventures they offer are Outlaws of Alkenstar, Bloodlords, Abomination Vaults, and the beginner box, and a couple of one-shots. But the nice thing is that all the character rules, all the creatures and hazards and items and actions and feats and spells from all the official sources are there, and they're free once you purchase that Foundry license itself. You just have to buy the adventures. There is also a way to import information from the PDFs that you've officially purchased from Paizo.com into their system, though I haven't checked it out myself yet. Finally though, I would be remiss if I didn't point you to the Archives of Nethys one more time. That's the website that has, for free, all the gameplay rules for Pathfinder. All the character options and monsters and spells and abilities and feats and everything is there. I keep it open in my browser window while I'm playing anytime I need to quickly look up a particular spell, or how to do a climb check, or how the medicine skill works. Anything. Now the website can be slow, so that's the only real problem. Especially right now with more people showing an interest in Pathfinder, expect the website to be a little bit of a pain, but we love what they do for the community. Those are the primary online tools that are out there. There are others, of course, and if you have favorites, please let us know in the comment section down below. And I think that's all you really need to get started. We have playlists on our channel here with Pathfinder book and mini reviews. I will link those down below. Don't forget to hit up Glenn in our Discord server if you'd like to try an intro game. I don't know how much capacity he has to run games, so if you're interested, I imagine it's first come, first serve. I may sit on a couple of those games myself too. And who knows, if you're watching this in 2024, 2025, perhaps Glenn is still offering those games, so come check it out. And if you have any questions or need any guidance, let me know down below and I will do my best to help you out. Don't forget to check out the animated tarot cards from our sponsor Hit Point Press to help you enhance your games further. And if you enjoyed the video, clicking the little thumbs up button and subscribing to the channel here helps us grow and improve. If you're interested in our Kobold plushies, they are now fully in stock. Lots of different classes are available, plus accessory kits to customize them to your heart's content. Check them out at koboldplush.com. And you can also find me over on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Mastodon. Thank you for watching. For now, stay safe, have fun, love each other, and I will see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.